So before we proceed to the first unit of Mathematics 8, so let's try to review some of the skills that you have learned before in grade 7. Um, when you were in grade 7, you actually multiply, for example, you have learned how to multiply x times x plus 1 times x, right? You have learned to multiply x times x, which you all know to be x squared, right? So, but then, and then you have also like x plus 2 times x minus 2, for example. So we have learned all of this one before. You have learned all about it before. But then this time, like, what does it mean really? So we are going to use algebra tiles to represent all of this. But before that, so let me just clear it. So before that one, let's try to revise what's the idea behind it. So when you were in grade school, for example, and then you have a square or like like a rectangle, to find the area, what we do is you have here the length, you have the width. So what we do is we multiply the length times the width, right? So very simple. By the way, in algebra, as we all know, when you say LW, it means multiplying. Okay, even without the time symbol. Okay, so we multiply the length times the width to get the area. So that's why if we have here like a square, and this one is a side x, and that one is a side x as well. So the area of this one, we say that the length is x times the width is x, so we'll give you x squared. But let's try to represent this using algebra tiles, okay? So algebra tiles is very important so that you can actually visualize the problem. So let's say that you said we want to have x times x. So this is the side x, all right? And then I have another side x, okay? So as you can see, if we have a side x and another side x, or both side x, it will actually make here, when you draw, it will actually make a square there. And that square, as you can see, the area of that is x squared. So how you're going to represent that is with this one. So you can take one of this, as you can see, so that is x squared. Alright? So that's the meaning of the x times x. Okay, so that's x squared there. Now, okay, now, so let's say that you have now monomial times a binomial. So for example, before you have let's say x times x plus 1. So meaning here the length, okay, or the width is x, and x plus 1 is the length. So how will you represent x plus 1? Now you have here the x. How will you represent the x plus 1? So you need this one, that one there. Okay, so let's take it. So that is now x plus 1. Alright, and as you can see from there, if you have x, if you have here x here, this is the side x, alright, side x, x unit, and then this is 1 unit, it will actually form another rectangle. And that rectangle is actually the x. So when you drop this one, So when you drop this, drag it and drop there, so it actually fits the shape, right? So no extra, no missing parts, so it's actually fit the shape. Okay, and what is that? That is actually x squared plus x. Okay, so what did we multiply? We multiply this. We multiply x times x plus 1. So what we did is x times x, you did it like this before, is x squared, and x times 1 is x, right? But geometrically, this is the geometrical definition or illustration of that algebraic multiplication, right? So let's try to have, you can try, you need to try it by yourself, guys. So I'm gonna give you some questions later on, and then there's a link for the algebra tiles, and then what I call this one, and then do it. Okay, show it. So let's say, for example, that I have this question. So let's say that I have x plus 1, which you have here already, x plus 1, and times x plus 2. So what will happen now? X plus 1 times x plus 2. So what do we do before? So before, what we did is, okay, let's use the algebra tile. So we have x plus 1, and then we need x plus 2. 2 of this here. 2 of this there. Okay? And then let's try to figure out the solution. So you have this one, x plus 1 and x plus 2. That's actually what we need, x plus 1 and x plus 2. So by looking into this, so now we have this part. Okay, so x, this is now x times 1 is x. And then you have another one, we need to get one more. Okay, like that. And then you have your 2 small bits there. 2 small bits. Okay, so what you need, you put there, and then you put there. Okay, so based from that, what we can see is you have, you have there x plus 1 times x plus 2 based from here, okay, it says x squared because there is 1x squared, all right, and then there are 3x, 1, 2, 3, so that's plus 3x plus, then you have this 1 plus 1, you have 2. So x plus 1 times x plus 2 is equal to x squared plus 3x plus 2. But then not at all times, so that you can use the algebra tiles, because sometimes in the exam you don't need to draw. But I'm using algebra tiles just for you to see mentally, oh, that's the meaning of this. So for the meantime, if I have some questions on you, because this is a technology class, if I'm gonna give you a question, then you can use algebra tiles for a while just for you to visualize it. But what is the technique before? So before you have their sorry. So what is the technique before? Before you have their x plus 1, all right, x plus 1 times x plus 2. So what we did is we multiply x times x, then x plus 2. All right, so let's try to do it. Or maybe we can just, you have x, and then you can just copy this again, x plus 2, and then plus 1, this one, and then you can copy again, plus 1, and then x plus 2. So it's actually the same thing. Okay, so again, what I did is just this block times this block times this block. Okay, so that's what happened. So I have x times x now. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is positive 2x. 1 times x is positive x, 1 times 2 is positive 2. So when you simplify that, that's actually x squared. 2x plus x is 3x plus 2, which was our answer a while ago. Okay, so this is the one using like no modeling. This is the one with modals. Again, right now, because the problem with algebra is everything is letters, everything is abstract. So with this one, you can actually visualize it, okay? Because everything, when you use algebra tiles, everything is actually using diagrams. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some types of question, so you try to multiply it. So the first lesson in algebra is actually all about factoring. But then you cannot factor if you don't fully understood this multiplication. Okay, so later on we will have factoring, but you need to practice this first. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some questions. You use this link to take to draw the model, and then take the photo. All right, and then you attach it. Okay, I'll give you the instruction in Google Classroom on how to do it. So that's the best thing that actually this is really good. Okay, because everything is visual, and you know algebra, if because algebra is so abstract that sometimes it's so difficult to figure out. Okay, but with this one everything will be easy. Have a good day and goodbye.